very good evening. Tonight, attention is still on cerebrospinal meningitis as it takes a huge toll on the citizens, even as no effort is spared in stemming its spread. Also top on the lineup, Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport Abuja runway is almost ready, but just as the runway markings are in place. The Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria FAN is investigating the cause of Tuesday morning's fire that damaged a part of its office in Lagos. Also tonight, normalcy returns to Damaturu after a clash between military and police personnel. And on the political front, it's time to mend fences within the ranks of the governing party in Kogi and Bauchi states. This is News Extra, starting now. I am Fatima Abbas Hassan. 4,637 suspected cases have been recorded since the outbreak of meningitis in the country. There is, however, a ray of hope as efforts to stem the outbreak are said to be yielding positive results. State House correspondent Jide Onifade has details of this and other deliberations at the Federal Executive Council meeting in Abuja.
Trending is the story of the outbreak of meningitis in the country. Thus also became a topical issue at the Federal Executive Council meeting, presided over by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. Worst hit, as explained by the Minister of State for Health, is Zamfara State, with 7% of the 4,637 suspected cases. 489 fatalities of the suspected cases were recorded, with 207 laboratory confirmed cases.
We are expecting by this weekend 823,000 vaccines from the UK. They have been approved by the World Health Organization. I'm talking about quality-wise, and it's a special kind of vaccine that's called the conjugate vaccine, which has a longer protection of about 10 years than the usual vaccine which we have been using before, which is called the polysaccharide vaccine. That one gives protection for about 2 or 3 years. As of now, about 420,000 people have been vaccinated in Zamfara State, and I can tell you that we are beginning to see the plateau. That is to say that the epidemic is no more rising, is beginning to flatten out, and we hope that's going to come down soon.
The Council considered a memo presented by the Ministry of Environment for the ratification of an international convention banning the use of mercury, described as harmful to human health.
By signing and ratifying this convention, Nigeria will be in a position to benefit technically from funds that may be made available to international communities. We will also benefit from training on issues that are related to mercury poisoning, which in collaboration with the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Mines and Solid Development, there will be an interministerial committee to work out the modalities on how to access this funding from international donors.
The Federal Executive Council meeting is usually presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari, but he was absent at today's meeting.
The fact that you did not see me does not mean that he's not working at all. The president is in town. The president is attending to other issues and decided that the vice president should preside.
In the State House, Jide Onifade, NT News.
Ahead of the 19th April deadline for the reopening of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport Abuja, runway markings, which is the last aspect to signal the completion of work, began this Monday. Emmanuel Ayimiro, monitoring progress of work, reports that to avoid speculations by the social media, online journalists continued the tour of progress of work at the airport and ended with a positive impression.
After meeting the critical element of work on both ends of the runway, the first layer of runway markings is in progress.
We have just started with marking, as you can see here on 04. And the marking is going well. Let me say, if the weather is like today, everything is going according to its time schedule.
Meanwhile, members of the social media represented by online journalists, after an assessment tour of progress work, say they cannot wait to see aircraft taking off and landing on the newly rehabilitated runway. In a related development, renovation works have continued in the terminal buildings. A lift is being installed at Terminal B, where domestic passengers were subjected to the stress of climbing the staircase in the past. The lift is to be ready before the reopening of the airport.
The upcoming departure lift on that terminal will be concluded before the opening of the airport on the 19th. But it is the descending one that will be delivered after that period, and the work is still in progress.
In a separate visit, Minister of State Aviation, Hajj rated the work to be near completion.
We're at 96% completion of the runway. What remains is the part of the lightings and the markings, which is going on simultaneously.
After the markings of the runway have been completed, with other little works remaining, the runway is expected to be certified before its reopening. Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
And from Abuja, we take you to Yobe State, where normalcy is said to have returned to Damaturu, the state capital, following a clash between military and police personnel, which created panic among residents in the early hours of today. In a joint press briefing, Commander 27 Task Force Brigade, Buniadi Brigadier General Aminu Bande, and Police Commissioner, Yobe State, Sumonu Adeyemi Abdulmalik, said the situation is under control. Our correspondent, Abubakar Shoaibu Galadima, has that report.
Damaturu, the Yobe State capital, was thrown into confusion following clash between two officers of Nigerian police and the military. The clash that occurred around 7 o'clock in the morning with eruption of gunshots across the metropolis, which crippled socio-economic activities as residents remain indoors for fear of unknown. In a joint press briefing by the military and police authorities, the clash occurred as a result of misunderstanding between two officers of the security organizations. The Commander 27 Task Force Brigade, Brigadier General Aminu Bande, said the situation is now under control, saying that anybody found wanting will be dealt with according to the rules governing the military.
Just in the manner of the military, we are going to set board of inquiry, we are going to set military police investigation. If it warrants sending the officer for the court-martial, he will go.
The Police Commissioner, Yobe State Police Command, Somono Ademi Abdul Maliki, said one officer from the Nigerian Police Force was injured and currently responding to treatment at the State Specialist Hospital, Damaturu.
Net, we said what happened on both sides, and we discovered that it's just an issue between two people that has been degenerated to what we do not like.
He, however, urged residents to remain calm as normalcy has been restored. The residents of the Rector Pedro Polytechnic Damaturu and a mosque were affected.
We are so lucky that this thing does not hit the roof. If it were the roof, the whole house would have been on blessed manner.
Normalcy has returned as people are going about their routine activities in Damaturu. I am Abubakar Galadima Shuaibu, NTA News.
And with pockets of attacks by Boko Haram terrorists in some parts of the northeast, the Nigerian Air Force says it has launched a new air operation in the fringes of Sambisa Forest, where the terrorists are believed to have migrated to. The Air Commander Operation Lafia Dole, Air Commodore Charles Owo, disclosed this in Yola while briefing journalists on the activities of the command in the first quarter of the year 2017. Defense correspondent Isaac Nkuma has the details.
Intelligence reports and intelligence surveillance and reconnaissance footages of the Nigerian Air Force indicates that upon dislodgement from Camp Zero in Sambisa Forest, some of the surviving terrorists migrated to the west of the forest, down to the southwest of Maiduguri and into Yobe State, while others have moved eastward and southeast of Sambisa towards Goza and Tangoshe Hills. It was also observed that the terrorists had cells in parts of northern Borno, such as Tumbunrego and along the Greenbelt region. To this end, the Nigerian Air Force has gone back to Sambisa Forest under an operation codenamed Deep Punch.
A few days ago, our ISR aircraft maintained visual over BHT in Arege and tracked them as shown on the screen. You can see we are using the infrared, and that's why they are visual. Efficient communication of the ISR aircraft with the Multinational Joint Task Force eventually led to the dislodgement of these terrorists in a firefight. In this encounter, about 7 BHT were killed and many of them were injured, while technicals, weapons and ammo were recovered.
Appraising his activities, the Air Component Commander says leveraging on the lessons learned in 2016 will sustain the conduct of day and night air operations independently and in concert with the Theatre Command, Multinational Joint Task Force and other partners with a strategic direction of search, locate and destroy, but with utmost caution to avoid a reoccurrence of the RAN accidental airstrike incident.
What we're trying to do is to make sure we keep an eye in the sky, make sure that whatever activity we see, we either report to the surface forces so that they can act, or we ourselves take actions. We believe that over time, these actions that we are taking will continue to, reduce their capacity.
In achieving its target of maintaining total air cover for the entire theatre of war, the Air Force says it will fully deploy some of its tested air assets, such as the Unmanned Combat Area Vehicle, Mi-35M all-weather combat helicopter, and the L-39ZA fighter jets to carry out offensive operations in bad weather, especially as the rains set in. In the meantime, plans are on to activate a forward operational base in Mungunu. From Yola, Isaac Nkuma, NTA News.
The ongoing investigative hearing of the alleged $17 billion loading from undeclared crude oil and liquefied natural gas between 2011 and 2014 suffered a setback as some of the major players in the sector could not provide explanations on the submissions they made to the House ad hoc committee investigating the matter. National Assembly correspondent Kenneth Nanim has that report.
We want somebody that is competent to...
The ad hoc committee interfaced with the international oil companies operating in the country. The members sought explanation on all the payments made into the CBN account, details of the petroleum profit taxes paid, royalties, total production and load-out of crude oil in the years under review. It also demanded assessment certificates from the Federal Inland Revenue Service for clarification, as some of the information contained in the documents presented appeared conflicting.
Kindly take a look at the payments.
We are not in a position to tell you what those payments are because we don't have sufficient details.
Yeah. Exploration, yes. Production, I would need to confirm if we had started commercial production at the time.
Although some confirm that, yes, this is from them, but they don't know this payment stands for what. And that's why we are investigating.
Expressing concern on the development, the ad hoc committee, however, gave the oil companies the benefit of the doubt to provide the relevant documents required for the investigation. From the National Assembly, Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
The ability of the federal government to restore business confidence with the right policies would help in fast-tracking the process of making Nigeria become a major player in the global economy. This was part of submissions by guests on NTA's Current Affairs program, Tuesday Live, as they deliberated on the topic, economic recovery and growth. Joseph Johnson has the details.
It is no longer news that the Nigerian economy is currently facing a fiscal crisis which has not only affected development but a decline in economic growth. These guests on Tuesday Live say is going to change, especially as the federal government recently launched the Economic Growth and Recovery Plan, which spans through a period of 3 years, covering 2017 to 2020. They, however, delved into different developmental plans, such as increasing tax-based collection.
Many Nigerians don't pay what they should be paying. That is the truth. So the first thing is we must broaden the tax base, get more people to pay the taxes that is due.
You want an investor to come in, and the investor will come to meet about 5 exchange rates. How is that feasible in some of your for you to achieve some of your GDP?
The issue with multiple exchange rates is prone to create corruption, whether directly or indirectly. There can't be any exchange rate that is more than one, and you find that people are not benefiting something there. So that is something that must be tackled straight away.
The guests also expressed concern over the implementation strategies.
It's important that we fix the financial system to be able to deliver this plan, because without a proper financial structure and a financial system, the funding of these plans would be very difficult, and we can see failure.
The game of dancing up and down with documents is become entirely boring. We need results. That's what will give credibility to this document.
Now, to achieve the proposed 7% growth rate by 2020, it would seem that approaching the solution to Nigeria's economic challenges with the same will and commitment exhibited by the Buhari administration in fighting corruption and terrorism may well suffice in reviving the ailing economy in the long run. Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
Now, some of the major takeaways from the just concluded Technology and Innovation Expo have to do with homegrown fabrications on critical infrastructure. Works and Housing correspondent Muhammad Hamza Sheikh was a guest to some of the pavilions while the expo lasted.
For over 20 years, Nigeria has been battling with the challenges of housing deficit and infrastructural decay, requiring trillions of naira to surmount. The use of imported materials is said to be a major clog in overcoming these challenges. While it lasted, the Technology Expo provided the platform for the display of made-in-Nigeria construction materials, ranging from security gadgets to building and road construction.
The vehicle inspection system is designed in such a way to inspect underneath the vehicle any hazardous materials, IED, contraband materials. That's what we designed it for.
I formulated this machine can do up to 60 blocks for 9 inches, as opposed to the ones that normally exist, do about 35 per bag for this quality of block that's here. So that way to reduce the cost of building, and then also it also reduce capital flight. These machines are usually imported from China and elsewhere, but here we are doing it here, right here in Abuja.
Participants at the expo also believe that with the new national housing program of the Buhari administration focusing on standardization and the use of local content policy for affordable housing to Nigerians, private-public partnership of the administration is also strengthened.
Honestly, I was overwhelmed when I see a lot of displays everywhere. I never expected it. If only all this our research, development and being turned to reality and people come around to commercialize them.
For the construction industry, the just concluded Technology and Innovation Expo could not have come at a better time when Nigeria is looking for ways to address challenges of the huge housing deficit, structural collapse, and other professional inadequacies. And with innovations like these, many people say the country is on the right path. Muhammad Hamza Sheikh, NTA News.
Thank you, Muhammad. Now, in its determination to make Nigeria one of the scientifically and technologically developed nations, the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology organized a 5-day technology expo where Nigeria's intellectual community presented various prototypes of research findings. The inventions and innovations presented reveal the capacity and capability of Nigerians in diverse areas of research and development. Science correspondent Kirian Umayo reports on some of the major feats achieved as presented during the expo.
One aspect of research findings that took the first position in the Research Institutes category during the expo is military-related. The Nigerian Air Force, which currently places emphasis on research as a way of building indigenous technological capacity, presented the first indigenous drone and weaponized L-39ZA aircraft by the Air Force Research Institute, Kaduna.
Here we have the unmanned area vehicle. It's used for surveillance. It could also be used for pipeline monitoring. It could be used for border patrol. We have the driver training simulator to train our drivers on different environment and adverse scenarios like rain, like driving in the night. We use it to also train drivers to understand the influence of driving under alcohol. We have a product that has helped us in the ongoing operation in the Northeast. Somebody give me. It's called the hydraulic accumulator diaphragm. It is used on the helicopter. Whenever this product has problem on the helicopter will not be flyable. So in 2010, the President Chief of Air Staff initiated this project as a commander in Port Harcourt, where for them to reverse engineer this product. The one on the aircraft lasts for 100 hours. This is the 8th product before we got it right. We tried it 8 times and we got it right.
Have we put all this into use at all?
At the moment, we have a lot of this flying on our aircraft. The Air Force is working on even exporting this to friendly nations that will require.
With the capacity you have now, can you make an aircraft?
At the moment, the Air Force is doing a lot in the area of making an aircraft.
Other outstanding presentations include solar-powered tricycle by Ishaq Ahmed from Kano, wooden car by Ahmed Aliu from Niger State, conversion of sawdust into roofing sheet, conversion of cow dung into methane gas for cooking by a primary school in Eket, Akwa Ibom State, locally made stabilizers and inverters, among other sophisticated, scientifically driven projects.
Even right now, I have 2 tricycles that in Kano we call it Adede. I just make it with solar. Instead of people charging 100 naira per drop, I ask my boys to charge only 30 naira.
Observers say they now look forward to what comes next after the Techno Expo, as most of the projects yearn for investors for possible commercialization. Kirian Umayo, NTA News.
I'm now being joined by Dr. Mohammed Jubril, the Director General, National Board for Technology Incubation, MBTI. We're glad to have you on the program tonight.
Good evening.
Now, the Nigerian Air Force was among the research institutes that distinguished themselves during the expo. What sort of encouragement do you think they need to perfect in the science of producing military hardwares?
Indeed. The Nigerian Air Force and the armed forces in general have made wonderful displays during the just concluded Technology Expo. As we all are aware, the Technology Expo's aim is to create the needed awareness for the citizenry to embrace science, technology, and innovation to propel Nigeria into the League of Industrialized Nations. Indeed, we have seen wonderful displays in hard and softwares, including the drones, the surveillance equipment, as well as so many other things. Indeed, the time has come when the Nigerian Air Force should be empowered more, especially the technical department, towards acquisition of more sophisticated equipment that will be aimed at producing in mass components that can be assembled to form the larger equipments required in their day-to-day activities. I am particularly referring to the components that can be assembled to produce fighter jets, guns, ammunitions, tankers, and so on and so forth. Indeed, We have seen the displays, and the technical personnel that have explained are really very capable. So it is no longer the same that we should wait for next year or upper years. Indeed, the time has come when the Nigerian Air Force should be empowered with this equipment so that immediate mass production, with precision finishings, as well as the required efficiency, so that the Air Force will start producing made in Nigeria fighter jets, aircrafts, tankers, and so on and so forth. Similarly, the issue of intellectual property should be looked in. A situation needs to be created where all those things that are being produced by the Nigerian Air Force need to be protected intellectually, so that apart from producing for the consumption of the Nigerian Armed Forces, Nigerian Air Force should be able to start exporting some of the equipments they produce.
Okay, now, you're heading the National Board for Technology Incubation, which provides training to Nigerians in various areas of science and technology and innovation. How did it play out during the expo?
Actually, the mandate of the Technology Incubation Centers under the supervision of the National Board for Technology Incubation is to pursue the commercialization of research and development findings that are proactive, that are target-driven, that are specifically needed for the economic development of the country. At present, we have 32 technology incubation centers that are into various technopreneurial activities. When you visit the technology incubation centers, you see a lot of startups as well as spin-offs that are really contributing immensely to the growth of the industrial sector in the country. You can see quite a number of products from the technology incubation centers in various supermarkets as a result of the entrepreneurial activities, especially from the graduates of the program that are constantly being monitored, evaluated, as well as benchmarked, so as to ensure that they remain key players in the economy.
Okay, now that the expo is over, what are we expecting?
Well, the expo is over. We are now going to review what has taken place with a view of identifying some of the lapses observed so that we can correct. Number two, a committee, because it's now going to be an annual event, a committee will be constituted that will ensure timely planning against next year. Number three, this expo that has taken place was fully sponsored by government. Next one will take into cognizance of support from the private sector. It will draw greater participation of those in diaspora, investors, inventors, innovators, angel funds, venture capitalists, and so on and so forth.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mohammed Jibril. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much.
And in other news of the day, as a part of the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, FAAN, was burnt in the early hours of yesterday morning as workers were resuming for work. Though no casualty was reported, Vera Chunwoba, who visited FAAN headquarters, reports that the place has been cordoned off while investigation has commenced.
The fire outbreak, which gutted a part of the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, left FAAN headquarters partly damaged. NTA News investigation revealed that the fire started from the finance department. Although the cause of the incident and the extent of damage are yet to be ascertained, a swift effort by the Airport Fire Service, in collaboration with the police, the fire was put out.
My policemen on patrol observed that smoke was billowing from this building, from this FAAN admin/audit building. And they quickly drew our attention to it, and we informed the firemen and the authority of FAAN to mobilize efforts in order to put out the inferno.
Further findings revealed that no life was lost. An eyewitness reacted to this incident.
It's very unfortunate. Why we say it's only government area will be burning fire, even especially for airport.
I want to assure members of the public that operations have returned to normal. You know, everything is going on fine in all of our airports.
Meanwhile, the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria had constituted a 9-member panel of inquiry headed by Fatai Oklanwa, an assistant general manager from the NCAA, to investigate the incident. The managing director of FAN, Sally Duno, inaugurated the committee today in Lagos.
Industry is such that the emphasis is always on safety, security, and then prevention of incidents or accidents.
Among the terms of reference are to investigate the entire incident with a view to evaluating the remote and immediate causes of the fire incident. In Lagos, Viera Chunguba.
You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. Still to come, APC sets up reconciliation committees for 2 states. Plus, correspondent on special assignment brings us the tie-and-dye story of the Oshogbo artists' village. In just a moment.
Change does not just happen. You and I and all of us must appreciate that we all have our part to play if we want to bring change about. We must change our lawless habits, our attitude to public office, and public trust. We must change our unruly behavior in schools, hospitals, marketplaces, motor parks, on the roads, in homes and offices. To bring about change, we must change ourselves by being law-abiding citizens.
When the kings of African comedy gather under one roof,
there is only one outcome. Then we bring down the roof.
Come witness the craziest
and the funniest, the oh my God, and the baddest of them all.
Laughter will scatter your brain well.
Come watch the biggest names in African comedy at Glow Laughter Fest. Basketmouth, Bovi, I Go Die, Sheyi Law, Gordons, Salvador, Osama, Bash, Kenny Black, and many more.
You will never have a bigger gathering of jaw-dropping, whip-cracking comedians under one roof.
One microphone, one network, all over Nigeria. Yeah, I'm gonna be there.
I am gonna be there. I'm going to be there.
Live and direct.
For the time of your life.
Will you?
To win a free ticket, use 2,000 Naira in a month and text LOL and your preferred location to 240.
Oh, Laughter Fest. Laugh go kill you, die.
True.
Glow Unlimited.
There is a reason Africa is called the new frontier. What was once potential is now an opportunity ready to be seized. Once revered for our resources, today's wealth is in our people. People who build the cities that shape the future. People who know an idea in one place means business in another. A generation for whom technology means there are no borders, no boundaries. We are the new lions in a brave new world, kings of the urban jungle. And there's a bank that puts the world in our pocket and the future in our hands. UBA, Africa's global bank.
What a time to be alive. Just some years ago, many of the businesses and industries that are worth billions today did not even exist. Now, you could be in a village, somewhere that almost nobody has heard of, and become the next big thing worldwide. All you need is an idea, patience, persistence, and good internet access. So go on, get the other 3, because we've got you covered on internet access with super fast data plans, no matter who you are or where you live. Maybe you're the one the world is waiting for to take us to our next level of success. There's only one way to find out, and we have full confidence that you will find the way. Why are we so sure? Let's just say that we have blind faith in your future.
From the south-south to the northeast, southeast to the northwest, southwest to the north-central, the Future Assured project and its component, Get Involved, is restoring hope to millions of Nigerian women and children.
We are actually doing a lot under Future Assured, the program of Her Excellency Mrs. Aisha Muhammadu Buhari. And I believe what we are doing so far is impacting positively on the lives of women and children in Nigeria, particularly those in the internally displaced camps across the nation.
Get Involved supports the Future Assured initiative. Email programs@futureassured.org.ng. Future Assured, promoting and protecting the lives of Nigerian women and children.
My promise to my child: I am not your friend. I am your mother. I will stalk you, debate you, and hunt you down if I have to. Because when it comes to protecting you, there's no such thing as too tough. That's why every night, I insist on Baygon Multi-Insect Killer for tough mosquito protection before bedtime, so I know my loved ones can fall asleep protected. S.C. Johnson, a family company.
Our job is not about us. It's about them. It's all about staying focused under pressure. So a headache? No way. When in pain, tough people rely on Panadol Extra. Panadol Extra, giving you pain-relieving power. When pain is gone, life takes its place.
We're glad to have you back with us on NTA News Extra tonight. Prior to the official flag-off of the Ogoni cleanup exercise, there were agitations about the environment and the people's health, economy, and social life. Months after the flag-off, Kingsley Amajiri takes a look at the efforts so far towards the cleanup and the feeling among the people.
The Ogoni UNEP cleanup exercise is built to last between 25 and 30 years. The flag-off, which took place in June 2016, was subsequently followed by the establishment of the Governing Council, the Board of Trustees, and the appointment of the project coordinator. However, at the moment, nothing appears to be going on at the impacted sites where remediation works are expected to take place. A Board of Trustee member of the Ogoni UNEP cleanup project, Chief Babe Obabe, and our youth leader, Marvin Yobana, dispelled the fears that the project might be a mirage, reassuring that the implementation aspect will soon kick off.
You know, in the UNEP report, it stated how many years it would take. And the first year was supposed to be administrative arrangement. The other year, putting the infrastructures in place. But I will say kudos to this government for one thing. They have moved beyond the pace we expected.
At the moment, stakeholders are advocating the immediate commencement of the emergency actions, especially addressing the water and the health needs of the people.
It is recommended that a combination of approach should be adopted, ranging from the cleanup of the topsoil and the replanting of the mangrove areas, down to watching the regeneration of the natural ecosystem.
And on the political front, the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Chief John Odige Oyegu, has inaugurated 2 high-level fact-finding and reconciliation committees for Kogi and Bauchi states. Correspondent Adebola Brookslyn Sunday has the details of that report.
You have a very simple terms of reference. You really 2 words.
The 2 committees are set up to assist the party to unravel the challenges in the states and also make reconciliation efforts.
Every single one one of you has been specially chosen. And this is a reflection of the seriousness with which the party takes the disputes in these two states.
Prince Tony Momo is the chairman of the Committee for Kogi State, while the Minister of Labour and Employment, Senator Chris Ngege, heads the Bauchi State Facts-Finding and Reconciliation Committee. The two committees are made up of 5 members each. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday, NTA News.
Now, the legislature is one of the 3 major institutions of democracy in governance and one arm of government that visibly portrays the principle of representation. In this special report, Ifeanyi Ezumba takes a look at the legislature as a veritable platform for the mobilization of women as an invaluable component in governance.
Said that women occupy a vintage position in national development. Yet it is also public perception that the women folk are rarely major stakeholders in this direction. Democracy, which is an avenue for reconciliation of interest, has provided a veritable platform today on which opportunities abound for women to fully participate in nation building.
Women have a lot of role to play because today we see what is happening in the country today. The role that women play is very, very important and very vital.
The legislature, which is fully composed under the principle of representation, is that avenue that provides opportunity for women to participate fully in the running of the economy. Under the current democratic dispensation, in which more women legislatures are in the National Assembly, it is expected that legislation that are more favorable to empowerment of women in the country, providing more opportunities for them in the participation in governance.
Women are really contributing to the business of legislation in this country. We have several women. Even when I was in the House of Reps, I've seen a lot of them. There was Patricia Ete, who was elected to come to House of Reps in 1999. I was in the House of Reps in 1999. We worked with her, and she was doing very well. We had several of them.
For me, they are more focused, and they have fear of their name, fear of spoiling their husband's name, or bringing their husband and family name to disrepute.
Women can really do a lot in this country. I don't have any. I don't discriminate when it comes to issues of gender issues. I don't look at women. I look at what they have upstairs and what they can contribute to the society.
According to statistics, the global participation rate of women in national level parliament is 23.3%. Presently, nations are exploring measures that may increase women participation in national development at all levels.
You don't have to rely on this 30% gender opposition to Beijing that you'll be given on a platter of gold. No way. You need to do their homework because you see, when you don't blow your trumpet, just like Samadi Bello or Blessed Memory have said, nobody blows it for you.
Every human being that is identified with a country like Nigeria that has an interest in good governance should be here.
It is believed that the legislature is indeed a veritable avenue for the inclusion of women in national affairs, governance, and economic prosperity. From the National Assembly, Ifeanyi Ezumba, NT News.
Northern delegates at the defunct National Conference 2014 having joined the people and governments in the region to key into all federal government agricultural and small and medium enterprises programs as a way of curtailing unemployment and boosting the economy. The delegates also maintained their position against the implementation of the Confab report under any guise. Political correspondent Abdullahi Garba Birni Kudu has the details.
The national conference convened by former President Goodluck Jonathan administration was held March to August 2014 to address some structural and constitutional challenges of Nigeria. The northern representatives under the name Northern Delegates Forum had since its inauguration expressed reservations due to what it called lopsidedness on number of delegates and abuse of due process by the leadership of the conference. The forum in this connection therefore mandated its committee on legal and strategy to come up with a report on how to advise governments for the benefit of the region and the nation at large.
To reiterate and maintain our position that the report of the confab is of questionable legal validity, is the outcome of a process that lacks popular mandate or support, and major decisions were arrived at by undemocratic means or at variance with due process.
The meeting commended the President administration in the area of agricultural revolution and security, advising on other critical areas like education and how to end farmers and herdsmen clashes.
We call on our security forces not to relent or rest on their oars until Boko Haram is totally flushed out of the northeastern part of our country.
What we're trying to do as the country most devastated by our attempt at development, we feel we should right now focus ourselves, minimize all the distractions, and try to focus on key areas that could uplift all of us.
189 delegates represented the northern region in the 2014 National Conference. In Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Bernukudu, NTA News.
The media has been commended for playing strategic role of keeping Nigerians abreast of the achievements of President Muhammadu Buhari. The national coordinator of the Buhari Friends Organization Network, Athanasius Okon, gave the commendation while on a courtesy visit to the Director General of the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, FRCN, in Abuja. Ado Adamu also completes the report.
National executive members of the organization, the national coordinator, congratulated the FRCN Director General Mansour Liman and thanked him for supporting them. He urged the media to continue reporting the groundbreaking achievements of President Muhammadu Buhari as he leads the country to prosperity. Athanasius Okon particularly urged the media to focus on the achievements of the administration in combating insecurity, anti-corruption crusade, and economic recovery, which he said formed the key campaign promises of the president.
After elections, we are not relenting still, as we are actively involved in our post-elections activities. And part of it is our continuous prayer for Mr. President.
Director General, Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, FRCN Mansour Liman, thanked the organization for its effort in projecting the performance of the Buhari administration. He pledged the readiness of FRCN to continue supporting the group.
We have to look at, the conditions in which the administration came into power after the embezzlement of Nigeria's resources for a very long time, and the fall in the Nigerian oil, the price of oil internationally. So the government came at a very, unfortunate time because the resources of the country has been dwindling.
The Buhari Friends Organization Network was formed by associates and friends of President Muhammadu Buhari in 2013. In Abuja, Ado Adamu also, NTA News.
And as the June deadline for Nigeria's transition from analog to digital television draws nearer, drivers of the process are confident that the deadline will be met, even though it will not mark the end of the process. Our correspondent, Anthony Forson, has more on that.
When in May last year, the federal government launched the pilot scheme to switch over from analog to digital broadcasting in Jos, Plateau State, it signaled the commencement of a nationwide digitization process. The federal government, since then, has kept to faith, monitoring progress every inch of the way. It is against this background that the Director General of the National Broadcasting Commission, Ishaq Modibo Kawu, says the commission is working assiduously to achieve digital switchover nationwide.
What I can assure you of is that, unlike in the past, when we didn't do anything, because of so many factors, we have taken the very first step. You know what the Chinese say? Nigerians, I think we should congratulate ourselves that we've taken this step, and we're doing it as a Nigerian process, run by Nigerians, designed by Nigerians, and being achieved by Nigerians for the Nigerian people.
Describing the June 2017 deadline for digital switchover as challenging, considering the demographic situation of the country, the Director General noted that the Commission will partner with the Nigerian Governors Forum to solicit their support for the program to succeed in the states.
The governors are very important in this process, for the simple reason that we are trying to mobilize the governors, one, to understand the imperative of the switchover, and two, getting them to be stakeholders in terms of also financing the set-top boxes for their different states. Once we conclude the first set of 6 states, I have a very strong feeling, given the kind of discussions we're having, that we might have a domino effect of states now wanting to be part of the process in an accelerated manner. And I think that will help us.
The Abuja launch, the Director General declared, has been a tremendous success. He equally mentioned plans to visit some African countries to share ideas and compare notes on the process. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
From time, Osogbo, the capital of Osun State, has sustained a pride in keeping religious and cultural values and thriving on the preponderance of vocations with financial benefits and exposure to the town. Hamza Musa Magarfi, who visited the tie and dye industry of Osogbo Artist Village, reports on its value to the promotion of made in Nigeria products.
Osogbo, one of its outstanding features is the grove of historical significance, cutting through parts of the capital city. As you enter on, you take a cue and interact with these adorable animals.
To say I'm here, of course, in this way.
The tie and dye industry within is a pull and rubbing it with a sense of commonality, according to Femi Johnson, who coordinates It's a Better Deal.
Most of the hands that could not be employed, because these were kind of an informal workers. And it is their own channel. People are allowed. You create whatever comes to your mind, so you are no more an idle hand.
With this work, I have different customers for Abuja, America, yes, Lagos, Kaduna, and many other places like that.
Then want our local or cultural heritage to die like that.
Beyond the art and contentment of expressing it, the coordinator says there is huge potential in empowering the unemployed.
They should look at something like this place. Bring in 1,000 students. Let us empower them.
With a little of government empowerment, I feel I'll go into it because it's very lucrative. Because most things they do in tie and dye are things that you can use for not just few months or years, compared to all these other fabrics that we wear. So things they do in tie and dye are things that will last for a very long time.
Like 19 years ago, about 19 years ago, I'm selling Adire. Only Adire. I didn't sell anything more than Adire. And most of the people, they know me.
In Osun State, is a penchant for the promotion of made in Nigeria products with practical example by the leadership.
Of course, you can never see me wear any foreign made attire. It's just impossible. So I am an advocate of made in Nigeria goods. As such, we support our local small-scale entrepreneurs.
For the captivating traditional fabrics design industry to sustain a momentum of growth, patronage remains key. Hamza Musa Magarfi, NTA News.
Many thanks, Hamza. Now, the Catholic Archbishop of Abuja, John Cardinal Onayeko, has called for concerted efforts in working for the common good of all, especially the poor. Talatu Eziriki reports that this was at the Chrism Mass for sacramental blessings preparatory to Good Friday and Easter. Her report.
In the sermon, John Cardinal Onayeko, encouraging the media on positive reportage, stressed the need to propagate good news and upholding the cherished values of the church that includes obedience, loyalty, and being voice for the voiceless.
And also add to it to relieve all the pains and sufferings of poor people and to help the sick and the needy. We are all also supposed to go out there and bring the good news to the poor, to help those who are in need, to release those who are in shackles.
In their number, the priests, parishioners led by the Archbishop and Bishop Aslem Omore converge on the Catholic Cathedral for the annual celebration of Chrism, which is the blessing of the holy oils of the sick, Chrism for the sacrament of confirmation, and Katukumi for priestly ordination. Chrism traces its origin to the early church and has biblical backings on the richness of the oil. A major feature of Chrism is renewal of priestly vows. In time past, the congregation at Chrism Mass were witnesses to the Pope's letter to each priest that is now mailed to them to build their faith.
No doubt the general prayer is that of more anointing upon the clergy, greater work for God and humanity. Talati is in the prayer.
In the meantime, the federal government has declared Friday the 14th and Monday the 17th of April 2007 as public holidays to mark the Good Friday and Easter celebrations. In a statement from the Ministry of Interior, the federal government enjoined Christian faithful and Nigerians in general to extend the spiritual benefits of Easter, which includes love, peace, and sacrifice to their daily living. It also urged Nigerians to support President Muhammadu Buhari in his efforts to build a strong and virile nation. The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria says it has so far allocated 20,000 seats to states out of the 90,000 allocated to Nigeria for the 2017 Hajj. The chairman of the commission, Abdullahi Mukhtar Muhammad, said this at an interactive session with the House of Representatives Committee on Nigeria-Saudi Arabia Parliamentary Friendship and Hajj Affairs. National Assembly correspondent Rabi Musa reports that this year's Hajj fares have not been pegged, as all the states of the Federation will come up with the fares peculiar to their needs.
The chairman, National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, said its activities have been standardized through screening and authentication, ICT, education and orientation of pilgrims, while inspectorate and compliance units watches over all Hajj operations with a view to penalizing defaulters.
We'll continue to do this. We'll do it in Lagos, we'll do it in Kaduna, we'll do it all over the Federation. Wherever we see any illegal operator, definitely we'll seal the office, until people realize that, yes, there is an authority over Hajj and Umrah matters.
The chairman, House Committee on Nigeria-Saudi Arabia Parliamentary Friendship and Hajj Affairs, Abdullah Balarabe Salami, commended the Hajj Commission for working in line with the acts establishing it.
Going by your effort and arrangement, I know it will be the best Hajj exercise, and we also have to commend you for the measures you have taken to ensure that justice is being done to all our pilgrims.
The National Hajj Commission has licensed 133 private companies to render various services during the 2017 Hajj operations, while 20 illegal operators have had their companies sealed, having discovered their activities that was not in conformity with standard, which resulted in shortchanging pilgrims. Rabi Musa, NTA News.
Coming next, after this time out, prices of rice dropped just ahead of Easter.